The world has enough nukes, it can destroy our world 36 times over.
Like one time is not enough.
Yeah.
So, how you been?
Yeah, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a while. I had a fun trip to India. I went to our hometown, Chennai. So it's been an eventful couple weeks there. So we'll talk about it in a little bit. So, what do we have today? What are we talking about today?
Yeah, I thought we can talk about how UFOs have something with nukes.
Did you say nukes?
Yeah.
You mean like nuclear power station?
Yeah, nuclear power and say nuclear missiles.
Missiles, like the one that the president has the codes to, and when he punch in the codes, it can go anywhere and destroy any place. That nuke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe let me give you a trivia on that. We have the world has enough nukes, which is like nuclear missiles and stuff.
Okay.
It can destroy our world
Sure.
36 times over.
Like one time is not enough.
Yeah.
We want to make sure the second
Yes.
time, the third time, until
Yeah.
the 36th.
Yes. I think people understand that.
Like, why?
That's why I believe that's one of the reason could be. Again, there are a lot of reasons or theories why UFOs might be interested in nukes and anything which is related to nuclear. So yeah, in fact, I would say even the first time we had anything related to UFO, which is like one of the famous incident is Roswell, right?
Right.
We have talked about it in
Yeah.
one of our earlier episodes. There is a place called Trinity. It's a pretty famous place, Trinity site. Trinity site is where the first atomic test happened,
Okay.
and it's just 2 hours from Roswell.
From Roswell. Okay.
So yeah, guess who were visiting? And it happened around like the similar timeline, if you think.
When the Roswell incident happened,
yes.
maybe they wanted to come visit this nuclear power
Yeah.
station or whatever the
Yeah.
place is, and that's how they even crashed. We could frame a story like that, but so yeah, okay. I think I see where you're getting to. So UFOs, aliens, and their visits to Earth has something to do with the presence of atomic bombs or nuclear
Yeah.
bombs on Earth,
Yeah.
right? That could be something related.
It's not just like nuclear bomb alone or nuclear missiles or these things alone. So say even there were times when you had any kind of incident, like say for example the Japan had this Fukushima incident, right? There was a meltdown.
Right.
I think I believe there was some kind of tsunami kind of incident.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not sure, but which kind of had a problem with the Fukushima power plant, and there was a big meltdown, and that time people did notice a lot of UFO activities around that area. So, and I also would like to keep it like where like it may not be always aliens. It might be too hasty for us to conclude these things are aliens. Might because it might be they might be crypto-terrestrial, which are like something which might be
The what now?
Crypto-terrestrials.
Crypto-terrestrials,
So
alright.
these are the beings which might exist here all along. So we don't know. So that's why like maybe it's a non-human intelligence. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So something which is not human. So which might be there. So that's why like I think going back, like one of the most famous incident is something which happened in what is this called? I guess it's somewhere near Alabama or not Dakota. I'm not sure like the place, but it's a Minuteman missile site or something. So it's a very famous incident. What happened was people. I think it's around 1967 or 66 or around that area. There are multiple recordings. Each person has different timeline. But one of the thing happened was this was during the peak of Cold War time, where this Cold War was happening, right, between Soviet and US. So that's when they were rushing in. Okay, who has the highest number of nuclear missiles? So
Right.
each of these countries were piling things up, and there was like a pretty good tension, we can say, which was between these two countries. And US has these kind of missile facilities, nuclear missile facilities in a lot of region around.
Right.
And one of this facility, which happens to be, I think, some Minuteman silo, where all of a sudden in 1968 or something, the nuclear missile, whatever the control system, suddenly went offline.
Okay.
You know how we feel when internet goes offline. Wi-Fi goes off, but this is different situation, right? Where say, what if, like, okay, because they don't know, right? Like, who's controlling, who's doing this?
Right.
So the first thing you would expect is, okay, maybe the enemy, or like during that time it was the Soviet. Okay, what if they are doing this? And it became really crazy. And not just that, the whole they have bunkers and silos kind of thing through which these missiles, ICBMs comes out, intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Okay.
So these are the ones which can travel across continents and reach different places. It was crazy. People who were there, they couldn't understand. But that's when, like, people who were outside of the silos, they were noticing a lot of UFOs, and they were seeing actual beam of light shining on top of the missile site. So something where they were able to control in a way where all these things were deactivated.
Wow.
So and immediately they were calling some other site or something where I think they also experienced a similar kind of an activity. They also said they had a lot of UFO sighting around where they saw glowing orbs. It was crazy. So there were like multiple incidents, like where like these times there was one other similar incident or in the similar place. This time it was an UFO which is like, I think they compared it the size of Walmart, Super Walmart, not a regular Walmart.
Okay.
The size of Super Walmart, which was just like hovering above a nuclear facility. And you have to remember, like, these nuclear facilities are one of the most secure and guarded place.
Right.
Which you would expect it to be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's crazy where something can just like that come and deactivate. But the most crazy part was this kind of deactivation incident happened in US, but almost around the same time in Soviet, they reported activation of these missiles.
Oh, the opposite. And was it the same attributes? Like there was some light orbs in the sky, and there was a beam of light on the nuclear area, power station area, and then some mechanical changes happen, like deactivating or activating, whatever. So the rest of the attributes are similar to.
Yeah. No, it's totally right. And you have to remember, these are like a lot of these nuclear facilities, and almost every nuclear facility, they kind of way they secure is they don't use any of our modern day equipments. It's all like pretty old, and one of the other reason is, okay, you cannot hack it because it's not connected to the internet. You're not gonna do your connect like nowadays how you have like refrigerators which connect with internet for no reason. So you don't have your nuclear missiles talking to internet because you don't want. So this is nothing where like someone hacked into it. Nothing like that.
Right, there is nothing to hack into because it's all manual and
it's pretty analog system. It's not digital, so it's pretty crazy that this happened. I don't know. What do you think? Like what are they? Do you think like they were sending a message or what does it like? Ring?
I mean, the one thing that struck me right off the bat when you said after the beam of light fell on the silo, like the building inside which there was a nuclear missile, I believe, right? It relates or it corresponds to the other event, the one we talked about in one of our earlier episodes, the abduction of Betty and Barney, right? So they also saw a spaceship in the sky, and there was a beam of light of sorts, and their car was stopped completely, like it got deactivated. So it is believable in that sense because when there is UFO activity and there is a beam of light, it is able to control our electronics or whatever technology that we have on Earth, right? Why do they do that? I'm not sure. If I have to speculate, maybe they love Earth more than we do, so they don't want us to do anything stupid. I don't know. I mean,
maybe it's a show of power. Who's the boss here?
who's the boss, right? Like I can, it's like them saying, "Oh, you're gonna do that? No, you're not. I'm gonna stop you from doing whatever you want."
Or I can do, like, I can trigger something event,
Right.
event if I want to, because
If I want to.
if they are gonna just stop things, right? They should have deactivated everything and not just like, okay, activate it in another side.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so if I have to put another perspective to this, it could be some other country that has procured the UFO technology and is able to run these spaceships or orbs of light to this location, the Trinity location, and deactivated the nuclear missile or whatever. So it's this other country, just for the sake of our conversation, right? Let's say China. Maybe China has got this power, and China is showing it off to US, saying, "Hey, I can deactivate your nuclear missile."
Yeah, definitely not in 1968.
Yeah,
During the peak of Cold War, and if say Soviet and US were the most powerful
superpowers at that
nation,
time. Yeah.
and if
Or
Soviet
is
had
that what you want us to believe?
yes, like the known powers. If
Right.
Soviet had such a power and to control on US, then something like that to happen, US also should have had a similar power. It's or maybe they were just like making it up, but they don't have any incentive to do that because again, and also maybe you can say the people who were there were going crazy. You can say that, but one has to remember the kind of people who work in these facilities, they are vetted to the highest.
Right.
So you know the kind of vetting they go through.
I'm sure it's like psychological, physical background checks, criminal checks.
Yeah, the kind of background checks they do is they go even all the way to which kindergarten you went through,
Right.
what kind of friends you had during kindergarten. Even that level of test they do, and they have to go through psychological tests periodically, so they cannot have anyone who's like even a slight bit of. So they are. You can say they are the most sanest people you can think of.
Right.
So they don't have any kind of an incentive to make any of these stories up, and we have had like multiple people coming up later during the years.
In fact, it will only jeopardize their jobs if they show off some insane characteristics, right? So it's only a loss to them when they act weird.
Yeah. It's but again, it's really difficult to keep your sanity when you see such kind of an incident, right? So
that's true. That's true. You're human after all, so you get to like show off your emotions once in a while.
Yeah, that's the part. And there was like also another incident. I think this is Malmstrom Air Force Base or something.
Okay.
Why I'm bringing this particular incident is this is also another place like where like I think similar deactivation or thing happened. I believe, but the funniest thing is people during the congressional hearings they spoke about it, and there was a senator. I think he was questioning the authorities who are supposed to know all this. The defense head, all these people from Pentagon, they should be aware of all this, right? Someone coming and deactivating your missile facility. And when they asked about this, the kind of response they gave is, "Oh, I'm not aware of it." And then like, okay, I'm saying this, how come like something which is as popular as something such incident which you and I are aware of, but a Pentagon head doesn't know. It's like, is it like anywhere believable? That's a funny thing. But then the person kept asking, okay, why you didn't investigate? Then he was saying, no, we didn't get any official request.
Sure, yeah. Let's.
So let's wait for official request because okay, yeah, it's okay. Someone just visiting us, and it's just nuclear missiles, right?
It's
Nothing. What's
after
gonna
nuclear
happen?
missile. I'm just waiting for my snail mail
Yeah.
to come first, and then I
Yes,
open the
yes.
letter,
Or
read
it-
all the.
At Malmstrom Air Force Base, in which 10 of our nuclear ICBMs were rendered inoperable. At the same time, a glowing red orb was observed overhead. I'm not commenting on the accuracy of this. I'm simply asking you whether you're aware of it and whether you have any comment on the accuracy of that report.
Let me pass that to Mr. Bray. If you've been looking at UAPs over the last 3 years.
That data is not within the holdings of the UAP task force.
Okay, but are you aware of the report or that the data exists somewhere?
I have heard stories. I have not seen the official data on that.
So you've just seen informal stories, no official assessment that you've done or exists within DoD that you're aware of regarding the Malmstrom incident?
All I can speak to is what's within my cognizance of the UAP task force, and we have not looked at that incident.
Lines.
or they got a mail, but it went to junk.
It went to junk. Come on, man. Give us a better reason.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, apart from this, even since like you said, like you went to India, there was some recent incident which happened
Yes.
close to our home.
I was hoping you'll mention that. Yes, let's talk about it. Yeah, go ahead. No, you were going to say something.
Yeah, so specifically in Tamil Nadu, I think we have this place called Kudankulam.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have another facility, Kalpakkam, which is like very close to Chennai.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of UFO activities in very recent times. And it wasn't just like a single day where this was happening. I believe there was some upgrade which happened in Kalpakkam, some kind of a fast breeder reactor where they were upgrading. I don't know what it has to do with the interest with UFO, but it seemed like what they were doing there really caught the interest of these UFO crafts, and they were around that area. And there was even a retired army, some person like really army or like a police guy, I don't know, but he seemed a very credible person who actually recorded pictures of these UFOs. It seemed really genuine, and it's crazy. So for people who say, oh yeah, why these UFOs happens only in US? No, it doesn't. It happens. It's a worldwide phenomenon.
Yep, and it happened in my own hometown.
Yes.
And coincidentally, I was there like a couple of weeks ago. I was there, and when I saw this news, I was like, "Wait, did it happen now? I'm gonna go there." But then I learned it happened like 6 to 7 months ago, in August of 2023, right? So I was super curious about this, and I was coincidentally I was in that area, right, where this retired police officer took pictures of these UFOs. It was along the coast of Bay of Bengal, right? So I was in the area. I was looking at the sky that night, but I couldn't see any interesting light orbs. But he was the lucky guy. But yeah, that is really interesting. And like you mentioned, he's a retired police officer. He doesn't want to be called weird or insane guy now after all these years of service. So it did sound credible, right? Yeah. We will run those images somewhere about here. But what do you think those UFOs was trying to tell us when it happened in Chennai over the coast of Bay of Bengal? Well, there wasn't a nuclear power station nearby, right?
Kalpakkam is close by, right? So it's quite close to Chennai.
Okay. So it could be related to Kalpakkam's nuclear power station.
It could be. That's
and
the
UFOs visiting.
Yes. So one thing, again, one of the theories where maybe they are trying to kind of make sure, okay, where these facilities are, or maybe, okay, what kind of capability people have, because if you think, right, like nuclear power isn't some simple thing. It's like something which is like a technologically far greater than anyone could imagine. Like thanks to Einstein, good or bad, we have that technology with us. Maybe it's something which is not to be taken lightly and handled. So we
Right.
have to be having a cautiousness. Maybe it may affect them. So one of the theory I've heard about is whenever a nuclear detonation or anything such drastic detonation happens, it could affect their communication medium. So we'll talk about this more deeper in later episode about how these things could affect. But this is where like the more speculative kind of areas we will have to dive in. But that could be one of the reason why these UFOs or whatever beings are interested in. Could be. Or
Right.
the other thing is, like you said, maybe they also share the same planet which we live in, and they don't want us to screw things up.
Right.
Right?
Hey, but I do have one question. Who gave the address to the UFOs of these nuclear power sites?
You know, right? There is something called radiation.
Sure, it's
Something which can fly and go at speeds which we cannot imagine without any propulsion, known propulsion and things. I think probably they have kind of technology where they will be able to detect
radiations.
more than that. So yeah, so maybe not like a regular Geiger counter, but something which is like pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it should be pretty cool.
So, but at least one thing is like, say, one thing we can understand is, since we know they are pretty much interested with nuclear, anything which has to deal with nuclear, maybe how we catch flies, right, with switching on a blue light, they get attracted. Maybe if you want to just invite them, just like turn on a nuclear reactor. All you need is like buy a nuclear power plant or like create one. You're gonna get like visitation. So for people who want to see UFO flying by, just build one.
Mess with a nuclear power plant. There is a chance that UFO can come say hi to you, but there's a very higher chance that you'll be arrested and put in jail. So do it at your own risk.
Yeah, do it at your own risk. Yeah, just to be sure. Like, yeah, we were just kidding.
Don't do it. That's interesting. Yeah. So UFOs and nukes. It's a pretty tight bonding.
Yeah.
Bonding, nuclear bonding.
Oh man,
chemistry.
you got to it.
I'm back, buddy.
Yeah.